Hey everybody, and welcome to Let's Look at Masters of the World Geo-Political Simulator 3. I must admit, I did not play Geo-Political Simulators 1 and 2, but I'm hopping into the series now, hoping that it's pretty accessible. I played about an hour of this so far, and if you're thinking that this is, you know, maybe like a Paradox Grand Strategy game or something like that, maybe this is a little bit like a Victoria 2 or a Europa Universalis 4 or something like that, it's not. It's very much a simulation of the way that the modern world looks right now, and in that way it's a little bit more like Democracy 3 or something like that. You play as the head of a government, you interact with countries all over the world. Oh god, I've knocked over several cups on my desk. That is not a good omen for how things are gonna go. We're gonna start up a new game here. I will admit that the game is a little bit beyond me at this point. The tutorial I kind of got stuck in, but it is a sandbox game, so you can basically set your own goals and have fun for yourself. So, you know, this is intended as much as of a showcase as it is entertainment and information, if that makes sense. I'm going to crack some jokes, maybe a little bit at the game's expense, but I'm going to try to show it off as well. So we have a number of different simulations that we can start with here. You know, the world in 2013 is kind of like the grand campaign. I think that's what I'm going to start as. There's 175 playable countries, which would cover most of the world, I think. There's also, you know, some more specific ones like the fiscal cliff, which happened like a year ago in the United States. You can only play as the United States in that one, and you have, you know, specific goals. Whereas the world in 2013 is much more of a sandbox, which I think is fun. So I'm going to play as the Americans here. Despite being a Canadian myself, I farted around a little bit as a Canadian earlier and had a decent amount of fun. Let's be honest, the game says when it starts all, you know, similarities to persons living or dead are, you know, completely coincidental. I don't think that's necessarily the case here, considering we have, you know, Jack Omaha, obviously modeled off of George W. Bush. We're gonna make his name Brad Obomo. There we go. Again, it sounds a little bit weird. We'll just go with Brad Obama. That's fine. He's his brother. And we'll get started here. We can change things, you know, it's a European game. We could have it show up in euros instead of dollars, but anyway, doesn't really matter that much. So we can see a quote here from Robert Byrne. Democracy is being allowed to vote for the candidate you dislike least. What a clever rube. So as we get started here, I will talk about some of the idiosyncrasies of Masters of the World Geo-Political Simulator 3, but first, you should probably experience this.
After giving televised holiday wishes that will not soon be forgotten, the head of state spent Christmas Eve in private with his family. But early this morning, he left in a helicopter to pay a surprise visit to a hospital before meeting duty soldiers in a barracks.
Duty soldiers.
The day ended on a major road in the capital, where he accompanied a team of garbage collectors assigned to pick up trash in front of department stores. Our head of state is starting out an exemplary year, under the gaze of cameras from all of the country's television stations, of course.
Alright, so I would describe the presentation of the game as I kind of pause the timeline here. I would describe the presentation of the game as ambitious, but maybe a little bit cumbersome. People, you know, pop up in 3D faces and they talk to you, but there's no subtitles. And most of the time when I'm playing these games, like, these guys are pretty verbose. They're like, hey, one thing you should do is consider reducing the taxes on cigarette consumption. And I'm like, if you put that on screen on text, I could read it in a second. But instead, I have to, you know, wait 20 minutes for you to actually finish your dialogue to figure out what you're trying to advise me with. But anyway, this is our interface. What's going on in Geo-Political Simulator 2013. This is the United States. We can see all sorts of major, you know, factories and administrative zones and stuff like that, and, you know, military bases. And we can see those from other countries as well. So if I go up to Canada here, you know, I can zoom in on my, hometown, which should be over here, roughly. Let's zoom in and see how close I am. There we go, Kingston right there. It's got a military base and I guess a wind farm as well, which generates 1.77 terawatts. Anyway, that's, you know, neither here nor there. One of the things we should do as we first get started here is pass a law. So it's still January 1st. Our term has basically just begun. I think the American presidential term actually starts like the 6th week of the year. But anyway, maybe we want to pass a law, and maybe we want to pass a law that improves the environment. So we can go to legislation here. And, you know, actually, one thing we should do first is maybe check out our government, and I'll look at my cabinet. Okay, never mind. My cabinet is completely full here of people that are actually fairly well-liked, except for the agricultural minister, Rob Ford here. Treasurer Bob Saget doing okay for himself, though, in any case. We're gonna, yeah, we'll try to pass a law regarding the environment here. So we can go to legislation and say, regulate vehicle traffic in urban zones. That's probably not going to work. What about determine the tax reduction for people using clean energies? I think I have actually So we're already giving tax credits. There we go. We'll give tax credits to people at home as well. As you can see, the Democratic Party is going to like this a lot. We'll confirm this. It's going to cost us, $0.8 billion. That's pretty crazy. And then when I look at that, we can see how this is going to look in the House of Representatives and the Senate. So it looks like it might be passed. We have about 2% of the independent, or 2% of the independents are saying go for it, and 76% of the Republicans are saying don't go for it. I don't know if we're going to be able to make this. It looks like we're 60% for in roughly the House and the Senate as well. So, this is going to take like 2 weeks to go through, but that's okay. You can pass all sorts of laws. For example, if we wanted to, commit political suicide in the United States, we can maybe say, I think that's under health. There's so many different tabs here. I apologize if I seem a little bit flustered, but look at this. There's like 60 options down here on the bottom of the screen. But anyway, maybe we can go to taxation, and we can go to legislation, and why don't we say, tax exonerations for war veterans. Oh, they already have exonerations. What about tax exonerations for donations? We could change that to you don't get tax amnesty for donating to charity, but I think that would be a terrible idea. What about change the level of tax investigation? This seems like a terrible idea. By the way, all of these have Wikipedia links associated with them, so you can actually look up the issue yourself. I think that's kind of cool. It's still a little bit difficult to parse everything that's going on, just because there's an overwhelming number of options. Let's go with, let's put a tax on industrial pollution. Did that say a tax on, I thought that said tax on salt and animal farts, and I was like, what is this, the NLSS? Alright, tax on industrial pollution. We're gonna say, 3% tax on industrial pollution. That'll give us enough money to compensate for that other law I'm trying to pass. How's this one looking, in the House and Senate right now? Ooh, well, the red pie looks bigger than the green pie, but it says we got 69% on our side, and I like that number. Okay. While we wait for those laws to pass, one thing that we might want to do is set up a meeting with another country. So, who does the United States want to have a great relationship with? Maybe China. So I can right-click on China and be like, here we go, meeting request. So with Pu Libao, we will establish a 2-day meeting period here starting on January 8th. Now, like Paradox Games, this works with a kind of timeline system down at the bottom. So we're going to fast forward to the next closest event, and as we do things, more and more people are going to talk to us, and more kind of influences and effects are going to pop up at the top of the screen. So let's see what this guy has to say.
Your conservative management combined with growth prospects reflect a stability that gives us confidence in your solvency and in your leadership. We trust you. Let me remind you, in case you're unaware, that our assessment is mainly based on your projected budget deficit.
Look at this guy's hair. It's like a black and white topographical map of the Andes or something. All right. The facial modeling actually looks like pretty good for a game like this. I don't know why they chose to go with like a text-to-speech engine for all of the voice work, but
you are giving our country a big breath of fresh air.
Very clever. Okay, I'm not going to go through all of his dialogue every single time. Okay, so we have an appointment with the foreign minister. Or no, wait, she's the prime minister from... where is... I don't know what country this is, and that's my own fault, but whatever. Sure, we'll accept. We'll have another meeting right there. And then we'll fast forward to our next event. There will be like newspapers and television stuff that'll show up as well. What do you have to say to me? Sanctuarize the army. I don't know what that means. Get off the screen. A real friend for our world. I think you just want to talk to me, man. There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, I am the president. Tiffany Obama. This is my wife. Okay, what does she have to say? I'm not trying to insult anybody, but she has dead eyes. Michelle Obama in real life is actually like a nice-looking lady, but Tiffany Obama kind of looks like Bat Boy from the World Weekly News. I just got back from my weekend in Sweden for Lars and Peter's marriage. You should have been there. It was great. What a sweet couple and what a gorgeous ceremony. There were 150 family members and close friends there. I can't believe you haven't legalized same-sex marriage yet. All right, well, honey, it's not the easiest thing in the world to just do that. What about legislation on homosexual rights? Sure, we'll try to change this to get them being able to get married. How does that look in the House and Senate? Again, like basically the same kind of proportions. We'll see if those pass. So yeah, the stuff that pops up on the side, you can ignore it sometimes, and you can pay attention to it sometimes. But it does kind of guide you as to what you should do. But man, this is a very, very complex engine that is going on here. What does this guy have to say?
Sometimes I don't know what century you're living in. Marijuana is still illegal even though everyone uses it, and still less dangerous than alcohol. You should decriminalize it right away. You wouldn't want to have to come pick me up at the police station.
Alright, you fucking creepy Joe Pesci! Relax, I'm not gonna put a law in there to legalize marijuana. I'm already asking for some, political tolerance here by legalizing homosexual marriage and, you know, putting a tax on pollution. I'm basically trying to rule America as if I was Canadian here. But our population has actually improved a lot as a result here. We'll see if those laws actually pass. So we have our meeting with Pu Li Bao from China. And I love that you can get involved in small talk with us before you start talking business. So let's offer him a coffee.
No thanks. My ulcer can't take it.
I know your game, you sly fucking fox. Don't take my coffee. All right, what about, I love your country. Its splendid landscapes always made me dream.
I hope you didn't make me come here to hear you discussing your favorite holiday resorts.
Wow, Pu Li Bao, you're kind of like a little asshole, aren't you? I don't know, you might be a tall man. We could propose a military alliance. So right now, we don't have, like, access to one another. Let's have an alliance pact, and then I'll just send it. Your interlocutor has refused. This agreement is canceled. All right. I didn't mean to click on that. We can create a sales contract, though. That's one of the things, one of the relationships we can actually get going on here between the United States and China is an economical one. Maybe I could say this is the Brad Obama offer for, let's see here. If I choose products, offer for bottled water. I wanted something that had alliteration. Brad Obama offer for bottled water. Okay, so we're going to purchase, actually bauxite I like better. Brad Obama offer for bauxite. All right, so this is the offer. It's going to cost us $376 million, but we're going to get nearly 10 million tons of bauxite at $38, which is like the midpoint between our national prices. Your interlocutor has sent this proposition. Excellent. The agreement has now been signed. The Brad Obama offer for bauxite. Coming tonight at 8 to CNN. Sure. See you later, man. Kind of a real jerk. Don't tell me I can do better, alright? We just got downgraded to, like, credit rating. Okay, I want to see if some of these laws pass. Rest assured, we're about 12 minutes in. Things are going to start to get crazy. What I do want to say is, you know, again, I'm going to take the piss out of the game a little bit here because I just don't understand the complexity that's going on. But it seems like kind of a cool engine. I don't know if I like it as much as Democracy 3. Democracy 3 is a little bit more visually intuitive, and this is actually like $45 or $50. It's basically a full price, you know, game. But it does seem nifty. It's not the kind of thing that I think I would recommend for an impulse purchase. But if you're into like really detailed political simulation and you're willing to invest a ton of time to maybe get over the kind of cumbersome UI basically that is going on here and the sheer depth of things that are happening, then you might like it.
Good morning.
Okay.
I didn't come empty-handed. In fact, I wanted to see you in order to submit this economic contract. As you will see, it is profitable for both our countries.
All right. The Bangladesh Prime Minister has offered me an agreement. She wants to buy electricity in terawatts. Contract number 69. I did not make that up. Sure, you know what? I want to have a good relationship with Bangladesh. You can have some of our electricity. Do you want a coffee?
No thanks. My ulcer can't take it.
What is wrong? It's a high-stress job, I guess. Everybody's got ulcers. What about you should make more of an effort in terms of human rights?
Our country is confronted with many subversive undercurrents. So you understand why we are forced to apply an appropriate coercive policy.
Wow. All right. See you later. Is this Bill Clinton?
1 week before the beginning of the festival, the hotels are full of bursting. Photographers.
The hotels are full of bursting. Sure, except. No, I'm done with you. Thank you, Tony. What do you have to say here? Brad Obama offer for bauxite with China, first contract.
Well done. You have just
She's pretty pleased with me. Thank you, Rachel Blake. I gotta see what happens to my laws here, though. The next event should be coming soon. What is your problem? Personal analysis? In a nutshell, commandos are the future. This is what has emerged from a personal analysis of current geostrategy for a moderate cost. Important in these times of global crisis, the state can benefit from highly trained, supercharged professionals who can intervene anywhere across the globe. Is this guy asking me to greenlight the Pacific Rim project? Undetected, at least until the moment of attack when they will devastate the enemy. Alright. You're the general from Dr. Strangelove and you're freaking me out a little bit. What do you have to say? Protect public health? Yeah, blah, blah, blah. Not enough staff in the administration. Industry's in danger. Why don't you talk to me when you have something important? He who wants peace prepares for war.
Iran is neither new nor a surprise. The major risk that Iran poses to global balance should garner only one reaction.
Excuse me, can you speak English when you're talking to me?
Any eventuality. By that, I mean the worst case scenario.
I don't know, man. Benjamin Buckwitz. It's a strong American name, but I need some subtitles if I'm gonna understand what the fever dream of rambling that you just brought up there. Prevention. That's all right. Okay, let's see the law's been passed. Okay, which law? Which law was passed? Someone's got to say, oh, law on tax reductions using renewable energies.
The bill has been voted on, and the law has been
Excuse me, can you make eye contact with me? I'm the goddamn president of the United States. What is there something more interesting than the head of the, most powerful country in the world standing behind you or behind me or something? Oh man, okay. So our first law passed. The law's been passed. What law got passed here? Law on tax on industrial pollution and homosexual rights.
The bill has been voted on. And
okay, so now that we've spent well, let's put it this way. In literally 18 days, I've taken my approval to, historically record highs, 70% approval for Brad Obama, no relation. I think it's time to totally blow that, and we're going to do what everybody's always wanted us to do. We're going to talk to Canada here, and we're going to say, attack this country. This order results in the deployment of the country's armies to conquer the target country. Confirm. Okay, then we'll fast forward to the next event. We don't really get to control the military, but that's okay. Let's have our press conference. Did he just teleport into that podium?
Fellow esteemed citizens, our current situation is critical. Faced with repeated provocations from this rogue state that is threatening both our country and the international
Why is his head growing and shrinking?
I have made a conscious decision to declare a state of war. We regret that diplomacy has failed. It is now up to our guns to speak for us so that we can defend our homeland.
That actually is the George W. Bush voice. All right. War has been declared. This guy gave me an ultimatum. You have 72 hours to withdraw your troops from our territory. Otherwise, we shall have no choice but to deploy our armed forces. Dude, in 72 hours, I'm already going to be marching up to 401, taking Toronto. I'm Canadian here, but I'm just saying. Let's see what it says in the newspaper about us. Oh, a raging conflict between Canada and the United States. Okay. Yes, I'm aware. I called the war. Remarkably, my approval rating still 70%. I hope that does not reflect real life, that my approval rating would not really suffer that much. Okay, let's see. Breakdown of diplomatic relations, breach of treaties with Canada, the war. Canada has just declared war on us. Oh yeah, they're the aggressor. We just got excluded from the G8 and excluded from NATO. Big freaking deal, man. As far as I know, we don't actually get to declare, or we don't get to choose how to manage our military, but I might actually be incorrect here. So we're attacking a country. It's Canada. Let's set that up here. Oh, do I already have it? Oh, I already have it set up. That must be a declaration of war. Okay. Surrender? I don't think so. Launch a procedure to authorize the use of nuclear weapons. That seems right. All right. So now that we've done that, leave the control of the armed forces in the hands of military top brass. Yes. Okay, there we go. That's exactly what I wanted. Launch procedure to authorize the use of chemical and bacteriological weapons. Okay, there we go. I'm losing 2.4% a day, but that's okay. Here we go. I don't know how this is going. Is this a conflict in Toronto? We could be taking this over. There's a strike, whatever. All right, Steve Carter. Do you have the same shrinking and growing head problem?
Fellow esteemed citizens, our current situation is critical.
Yeah, okay, we already went through that. Coordinated terrorist attack on military base in Afghanistan. Canada, were you behind that? This is the same guy who was asking me about weed earlier. Now he looks more like Willem Dafoe, though. I'm telling you what I think, Brad. Stop your warfare operations against Canada people and bring the troops home. Trust me, you know well that people won't follow you if you pursue this course of action. We'll see, Joe Pesci.
has finally rotted away at the whole territory. We are done for.
We're done for? Oh, because of strikes. Okay. But I still have a 56% approval rating. If the election was called today, I might be able to still win. Mr. President, excuse me, Tuesday the 29th, Brad Obama killed in attack. This is after 4 weeks of like presidential work. A terrible explosion put an end to the reign of Brad Obama. Every window of the White House shattered. The explosives placed in the office of the head of state. The investigation is in progress, but there is no doubt that the plotters of the attack worked in connection with the members of the security service. This inside assassination had been anticipated for some time, and in a way, ends the war situation against Canada. Wow. Okay, so we lose, basically. This has been let's look at... Can I still click on this guy here? No. This has been Let's Look at Masters of the World Geo-Political Simulator 3. Don't declare war on Canada, or your people are going to rebel against you. I still have a 64% approval rating when I died, which probably puts me within the top 10 presidents of all time, I would say. So, you know, I think they'll say, yes, he was crazy and he declared war on, you know, one of our most trusted allies, but he also gave us legal gay marriage. So, you know, 6 of one, half dozen of the other. You know, you win some, you lose some. But with Brad Obama, we mostly won. And if they had put their full support behind me in that war, I'm pretty sure I could have taken them. In any case, there will be a link in the video description below to pick up the game on Steam if you are interested. $45 to $50. I can't remember if it's $45 on sale and it's $50 when it actually is after its opening week sale. This is not a game for impulse purchasers. If you're into Paradox Grand Strategy games, it's not as much of a lateral move as you would think. It's more of a game if you're into Democracy 3 that I think I would maybe recommend. But also I think Democracy 3 is a little bit more intuitive. This has some problems with accessibility. That being said, it seems like a very deep engine, and it's kind of fun to mess around with. But again, you know, think twice before making that purchase at full price if you're not necessarily 100% sure that you're going to be interested in it. As always, if you enjoyed the video, make sure to click the like button. It helps out a great deal. And of course, subscribe if you want to see more videos like this in the future. As always, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.